This is how America was stolen, episode 28. By the time the marches multiplied, the truth could no longer be hidden. Episode 28 begins when forced removal stopped being an isolated event and became a continental operation, one of the largest mass displacements in human history, unfolding not in secret, but in plain sight. Entire regions were emptied, not naturally, not peacefully, but deliberately. Orders spread across territories like wildfire. Different native nations in different places were given the same message in different words: leave or be destroyed. Soldiers arrived with lists, routes, and deadlines. There was no confusion about authority. This was organized, this was intentional. Columns of displaced people moved simultaneously across the land. Roads filled with exhaustion. Rivers carried sickness downstream. Camps sprang up overnight, then disappeared under death and despair. Every route told the same story: hunger, cold, disease, loss. Colonial records spoke of efficiency. They calculated how many people could be moved at once, how much food could be spared, how quickly land could be resettled after removal. They did not calculate grief. Settlers benefited immediately. As native nations were pushed away, land prices dropped. Farms expanded, towns multiplied. New states took shape on land still marked by fresh graves. Progress rose on top of suffering, and it was celebrated. What made this displacement especially devastating was repetition. Some nations were moved more than once. Promised lands were taken again. Boundaries shifted, treaties dissolved. Each time the excuse changed. Population growth, security concerns, economic need. The result never did. Loss followed loss. Native survival depended on adaptation. They rebuilt governance structures on unfamiliar soil. They re-established ceremonies without sacred places. They taught children languages whispered instead of spoken freely. Culture became portable. Identity became resistance. Episode 28 exposes a painful reality. The goal was not relocation, it was replacement. The continent was being redesigned for someone else, and native people were expected to vanish quietly into the margins of history. But they didn't. Even as removal spread, native resistance continued in new forms. Legal challenges, diplomacy, cultural preservation, quiet defiance. They learned that survival didn't always look like battle. Sometimes it looked like endurance. Deaths mounted into the tens of thousands. Names were lost. Stories went unrecorded. Entire lineages ended along the roads. Yet the nation celebrated its growth without pause. Maps were redrawn, borders finalized. The past was declared settled. But history never settles, it remembers. Episode 28 forces us to confront a hard truth. America did not simply grow. It expanded by moving people out of existence, then teaching future generations that this was destiny.